everyone, this is Kathleen Francesca. Welcome to the 4th episode of This Is Me, and I have my amazing friends here. So the title of our show is 3 Men and a Lady. So I'm going to go ahead and allow my friends to introduce themselves. So go ahead, Mr. Hazlewood.
I am Patrick Hazlewood, longtime friend, and here I am.
We go back 25 years.
Just a few years, right?
Yeah, we're like toddlers.
Exactly.
Brett Zimmerman here. We go back not quite as far, but we made up for lost time. We've had a lot of fun since getting to know each other. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm Aiden Turner. We've known each other like 5 years now. Had some really good events: New York, Los Angeles.
Nashville.
We've really. I'm just thinking so many great dinners and good laughs, and it's great to be here. And thanks for having me on your show.
I mean, you guys have been really amazing. Every time, I have something going on, it's just take one phone call. I'm like, okay, can you come see me? So it's been great. And, Patrick and I actually go way back in New York days, about 25 years ago. And I met Brett and Aiden through Patrick. So the amazing thing is this man, we were actually in New York around the same time, but we didn't meet until 5 years ago in New York. And we also met in New York through Patrick.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of amazing how, how they said, third degree of, is it third or sixth degree of separation?
Sixth.
When you, Exactly. So I know all of us actually came from the modeling world, right? And it's interesting that it actually took us in a different path. So Patrick, I know you started off as a male model, and now you're this amazing real estate real estate agent in New York. So can you just kind of take us through your journey and how you got here?
Absolutely. I was in London studying for a law degree. And I was just in my last semester, and basically I had finished all of my practical work as well as my dissertation. So I decided, look, I've got time. I've got basically from February through April to do what I want in Europe. So I headed over to Milan, and when I was there, the most ridiculous circumstances, I got there and there was a strike. And if you've been to Milan, the strikes are very specific. They go from 10:08 a.m. and end at 3:13 p.m. So it's so
we
bizarre.
Gotta go.
So bizarre. So I get there and I practiced my Italian, and I'm like, "In biglietto per un giorno, per favore." And the person looks at me and responds, and I look and I realize I'm not getting my ticket, and I don't know what's going on. Long story short, the strike happened. I ended up staying at my friend's agency for probably 3 hours. And I got discovered. I'd already done a little bit of work in London and New York. So that led to, I had somewhat of a book. And basically, I closed up shop in London, just flew back to meet with my professor. And that was it. They never knew I'd left. So I got the degree and then started modeling. Long story short, went into event production. I did sort of lifestyle management, high-end concierge services. And I'd always wanted to be in real estate. So I decided after I got laid off, I was like, you know what, now's the time to get the license and invest in some property. So I got my first investment property, and now I'm with Brown Harris Stevens in New York after 2 years. So here you find me. Full circle, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We all have this idea as what we want to do in life, right? And things doesn't work out. I mean, I've always thought I'm going to live in New York. I'm going to go ahead and be this big modeling agent and live an amazing life in a penthouse, kind of like Sex in the City, but it doesn't always work out that way, and ended up in San Diego. And now I'm in the medical field, but it's a full circle because I've noticed a lot of people that I've met in the past and encountered, somehow I managed to kind of reel them into what I'm doing now. And, I guess in the modeling and the acting world, you have to take care of yourself. So wellness and all the aesthetics very important. So they just kind of go together. But how about you, Brett? I know you started out, or you lived in New York for a little bit too, right?
Yeah, I did. My path wasn't planned in the way it's gone, but I started out just doing things locally out of the Carolinas when I was going to college. That was the important thing is going to get your degree and find a job that suits you. And as I was in college, trying to figure out what I wanted to pursue, I started spending time during my summers working with my agency out of the Carolinas. And they would get me on local shoots, whether it was in Atlanta, Charlotte area, Carolinas, New York, or other markets. And as I worked with them, pursuing that modeling career at that time, I didn't really know which direction I was going to head, but it taught me a lot in terms of like myself, being in front of a camera, being comfortable in my own body. And so that I'm grateful for, but then that slowly transitioned into acting. The more I got onto sets, I, just seeing the way production moved and seeing the way cast and crews worked together, it was very exciting to me in a different way. And I think every set's going to be different, right? Every character, every role I dive into is going to be different. So that was very exciting to me. And having not known what I wanted to be as a profession, I saw that I could kind of, be a chameleon in so many different ways to be a doctor or a lawyer or a soldier or all these different things within my acting career. So that's kind of how I got from modeling to where I am now. And it's been a very exciting road. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I went to this private school 6 days a week, and I'm coming from a family that everyone was so educated, and they all turned out to be doctors and heart surgeons and lawyers, and I really felt like I was like the black sheep of the family. And as much as I tried to work hard at school, the best things I ever got was like 2 Bs, and I was like a C student, and all these other people around me were really just like A's and A's and A's and B's. And this school was great, even though it was I had to go to school on a Saturday. I was a chef for a couple of years. I loved cooking, and I did really one of my B's.
We got a kitchen upstairs.
Yeah, right.
You're cooking for us tonight.
My B's were in home economics and math and English, and the rest was sort of C's and D's, and so that's what made me feel, I'm probably not as smart as the rest of my family, but I'm more creative. And so I was a chef for a couple of years, and when I went traveling around the world, I'd started DJing and chefing at an American place as well as my full-time chef job. I'd always wanted to travel because my mum had always taken me everywhere. Me and my brother, we went to Australia and Thailand and Spain and everywhere. It's just like traveling, you can learn so much about yourself. So I really didn't like chefing anymore, especially with I was getting slapped around or abused, like Hell's Kitchen and yelled at like that. But I love the DJing, again creative. I love cooking, but every day, I come home smelling of fish. I get fed up with that. So when I booked a round the world trip, it was I learned so much about myself, about my strengths, about my weaknesses. And when I got to Australia after going to Thailand and Malaysia and Bali or whatever, that took like six weeks. My mum made me use some of my savings to buy like a £40,000 apartment because she's in real estate. So to put a down payment on that would make me not have the money to last a year. She said, no, you go to Australia and you find a job. So when I got out there, I ended up bartending in Sydney and finding a place after going around the whole city for days after days after days. No, sorry, we don't need anybody. Sorry, we don't need anybody. And this one place that I found a job, they were so nice to me. It was so busy all the time. I worked really hard for the manager that was so great. And then while I was working behind that bar, one of the ladies, patrons, just said, hey, listen, I run a model acting agency and I'd love you to come and see me on Monday. What do you think? And I thought, yeah, I would love to do that. And then so went to meet her, and then we did some photographs or whatever, and then she sent me out for one of the first staged auditions, and it was a Diet Pepsi commercial, and then just to be on set, and I got the commercial, which was amazing, and I guess she had a vision and she knew what she was doing, and to do that commercial, I was nervous, and I'd never done anything like that before, but that paid a lot more. I guess it was like, $35,000 or whatever. So instead of working so much, that then made me think that, hey, there could be something here. And I wasn't the most confident person behind camera. So then when I got back to the UK, I ended up going to a drama school in London and did a two-year course at the Method Studio in London, and then got another agent, and then through this agency Nevs, it was very similar to the Australian agency, and I did another commercial, and then through doing this course made me less nervous and then more confident, and then through all of that work that I got, I saved up all the money I could, and then ended up moving to Brooklyn, because the last place that on my world tour, not that I was a singer or anything,
I love his second world
but around, I was only 20 years old, and my mum always wanted me to travel, so I ended up doing that. And then the last place on the world trip that I took was New York, and I loved it so much, I fell in love with it. I don't know what it was, hey, I'm walking here, and the taxis and the bars. It was like London, but it was like squeezed in and taller, and the yellow cabs. I felt like I was in like a movie. I was on set or something, and it was just magical to me. Only 3 days, and then I moved to Brooklyn, and got an apartment. Had to pay 6 months up front because my credit didn't work, and then one of my first auditions was for All My Children. It took 6 months for me to get an agent, and I wanted to go home, but I didn't want to go home failing and saying it didn't work. So this one agency on the Upper East Side, this old lady, she smoked like 40 cigarettes a day or something. She's like, you got talent. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much.
It reminds me of that episode when Joey Tribbiani from Friends.
Right, pretty much like that.
Smoking, exactly. Sorry.
And that was my first audition, and it kept me in New York. It's going to be a year just to enjoy it and see what happened. And I stayed in New York for 9 years, and that's where we met.
You know what it is? It's like, I remember like when I was a kid, like watching like all the Christmas movies and like watching all this like romance chick flick, right? And I think it was Serendipity. And when I saw that movie, I'm like, I'm moving to New York. And it wasn't about like you're going to meet someone there. It was just like the lifestyle. But now I enjoy visiting. I just don't see myself living there. And it's just amazing when you like meet someone. Like, I know, Patrick, you've been in, living in New York for so many years. Have you thought about like moving to LA or moving to a different place?
No, to LA.
Right. Just straight to the point.
No, I mean, when I lived in London full time and then moved to Milan, I kind of thought I was going to settle in Milan.
Yeah.
I loved Italy. I loved Italy in general. But Milan was really a home. And then I came back to New York, went back for the collections in Paris and Milan, and then I got scouted by an agency in Australia. So I went down to Melbourne. Melbourne, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm staying here. I'm never going back. I mean, I'll go back for the holidays. But, reality smacked me in the head and was like, I would have seen my family maybe twice a year. My parents are both very avid tennis fans, as you know. Yeah. So they went down to the Open every other year, but still I knew it would be like twice a year I would see them. So I didn't really think I would end up back in New York, but New York's home.
Yeah.
All my family is essentially there. So, I mean, I love it. I love the city. Would I move somewhere else? Perhaps. But no plans in the near future. But also touching on, this guy is a chef. I didn't know he was a chef.
It's funny, like we've known each other for years, and you like discover like different things. Like, you were a chef
during the lockdown. So I'm sitting there, as we all were, at home watching everything, and I'm watching Kelly and Ryan Seacrest at the time, and I realized, wait a minute, I have Instagram Live, and I have friends like you guys. I'm like, why don't I try this?
Yeah.
So I call up Turnsy, and I'm like, what do you think? Would you be willing to come on the show, do a show? I've made this show called Patrick Talks. You want to come? And he does. And he's like, yeah, we'll do it. settle. And he comes on the show, and he's like, let's do a cooking segment. And I'm like, a cooking segment? What do I know about cooking?
I don't know how to cook.
And that's when he was like, you know, I used to be a chef. Let's make a salad. And I will tell you, not only was it the best salad, it was really well received. It kind of launched the legitimacy. You know, I had a real bona fide star who was on. We stupidly did an hour, which somebody finally told me, they're like, Patrick, people are looking at something like this big. 25 minutes is the max. Maybe half an hour. An hour, nobody's watching. But the best part was when we're done, I kept asking him things like, am I cutting this correctly? And he's like, absolutely. We wrapped the taping, and this one tells me I couldn't see a thing. Jessica was filming it with the camera outward, so he didn't see what I was doing. But he did a great job. I was like, okay, that's it.
Guiding him.
Trying to learn it.
That's a pro.
So I have so many questions to ask you guys, but now knowing that you're a chef, and I didn't know that before, I'm interested to find out like one thing about you guys that I don't know about.
Yeah.
I think, Brett, you're like the new one that, you know, out of the group that I know. So I want to know one thing I do not know about you.
I'm really good with a hammer.
No pun intended.
No, I like full transparency. It's moving back to the Carolinas to be closer to family and continue pursuing acting. Definitely during the strike, I was looking for avenues to continue work in some degree, and my younger brother owns a demolition company, and he was kind of in those infant stages of starting the company out and needed help and couldn't find good help, and so I started diving into that world with him when I had free time, and it's become a thing that's been really nice because I learn a lot, both on the construction side and demolition, and get to drive big machinery, which is fun.
He's like, I get to be a big boy, play
cut
with the
concrete,
toys.
break down concrete, swing through concrete. So yeah, that's something that I've been enjoying over the past few years. Like the acting is obviously what I'm pursuing in terms of a career, but to have that type of physical labor day to day when I need to, it's nice to have that relief, and it's kind of fun.
So now I know you used to be a chef. Is there one more thing I do not know about you?
Well, while I was chefing and working in this American restaurant, these guys kept asking me to come into London and go to this nightclub in King's Cross. And so, where I lived is in Hertfordshire, so it's only 26 miles north of London. And, I was 17, almost 18, and then it was like 6 months. I was like, yeah, I'm going to come. And then one night they said to me, okay, you're coming tonight, or tomorrow night, or whatever. So that Saturday night I went into this nightclub called Bagley's, which is right next to this nightclub called The Cross in King's Cross. Mm-hmm. And that night was one of the nights that was I suppose it was like English is my first language. I'm trying to think of the right word. It was like the catalyst to the rest of my life. It was an old film studio, and it had these three sound stages, and they're all decorated differently, and they had 3 different types of house music. And then outside you can go out, and there was a bar outside, you can have beer, but people were dancing and sort of just, everyone was just really nice to everybody. That night sort of changed my life. And then when I got back at 5 a.m. and I got dropped off at my mum's house, she said, do you have a good time? And I said, yeah, I had a great time. She said, all right, you probably need to get some sleep. And then waking up that next day, I just wanted to go to the record store and buy records, and I wanted to get decks. And then that was the start of my DJ career. And I taught myself how to DJ after, within the 6 months. Yeah. And I made a a tape. This is how old I am. It was a mixtape, right? Yeah.
You're trying to age us.
This is 2025, and I made a mixtape when I was 17. So you can do the math.
You need to give a background of what King's Cross was like back then.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a rough
Kind of
a rough part of London. You know, you got transvestites and prostitutes, hookers,
ladies
whatever.
of the night.
Ladies of the night. I mean, this place, I didn't finish work till 10:30, so we left at 11, so arriving there at 12. So, you know, it's like being in Europe. Things don't get busy until 1 a.m. And for me, you know, I'm going to get in trouble with my mum. She's like, no, if you want to go, just be responsible. And that was the beginning, like this thing that just drove me. I love this music. And, you know, I've got a couple of pairs of Technics and this 2-channel mixer, and I've got some records. And literally, I just spent, my mum even gave me the front room as an office, and bought these speakers. I mean, I had saved money, so I had the money to be able to pursue this passion. And I didn't even know I had this passion the week before. So now all of a sudden I'm just, you know, mixing and trying to do it. And within 6 months, I ended up, after this mixtape I made, I ended up getting a job at Renaissance nightclub. And, you know, I guess I had some cajinas, or whatever they call it in Spanish, but I had drive, and I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And I was very pushy, and probably really, really annoying. And they gave me they gave me a chance, and they didn't pay me. I said, well, you don't have to pay me for the first time I DJ, but let me show you what I can do. And when I did the 2-hour set, they got me back every week, and then ended up becoming a resident. Then I ended up doing this other job in Hertfordshire, working with Kim Wilde, who was Marty. I met Marty Wilde, and Kim Wilde was like this big pop star, English pop star, like a Kylie Minogue, but English version. Both very, very pretty. And ended up designing a DJ booth, and then becoming their resident DJ as well. I don't know, it's just, that took off, and I was earning so much money doing that it made my £7,000 a year chef's job. Just made me think, I can't be doing that anymore. So I just really got into music, and that's what led me to the round the world trip, to try and discover, well, if I'm not doing that, what am I going to be, and who am I? I was, 20 when I traveled, but coming back to New York from doing that round the world trip, loving New York so much. I mean, I love London, don't get me wrong, but the rain really gets me down. After being in Sydney and living there for 9 months and having sunshine like here in LA, I just knew that there was a lot more out there than just sort of living in a little tiny Harry Potter house and with a tiny little garden and drinking tea all the time. I'm like, Mum, I got to get out again. I'm sorry. And I love her. And she's like, you just do whatever you want to do. She was so supportive of me and my dreams or aspirations. So I went to New York, and then and that was the beginning of working as an actor, and going for gold again, just trying to you have a dream and just going for it, and through the modelling and auditioning in London, in order to save to get there, you have to be very sort of particular about what you eat and how late you stay out. So the DJing sort of started calming down a lot, and then going to bed early, working out, drinking smoothies and green juice, and that's what got me into the health side.
So Patrick, I know you play tennis. I know you love to travel. I know you were a fitness model. I know you're a real estate agent. What else do I not know about you?
Right, my hidden talent?
Yeah, your hidden talent.
I am a connoisseur of bagels. And I can tell you, if you want to judge a good bagel, you always want to select the cinnamon raisin and the egg.
So cinnamon raisin is my favorite.
Okay. Yep.
So if I ever need to know what bagel I should have.
I'll tell you not only what to look for, but also how to prep the bagel.
Is there a special way to prep a bagel?
Absolutely. You wash it first. And then you put it in the toaster or the toaster oven.
Do you wash it with a soap?
I'm crazy. I'm waiting for bagels to come out.
You wash it.
We're going to go upstairs and make a bagel.
Because it maintains the beautiful crispness of the outside, but the center gets that nice, delicate toasting.
Okay.
There we have it. But you always want to judge by the cinnamon raisin and the egg are the ones that will tell you how good a bagel place is.
Washing a bagel. Mm-hmm. Now, do you wash it with cold water, hot water?
It doesn't really matter. Actually, to be honest with you,
but you don't have to soap it, right?
Don't have
you just wash it.
Definitely just some Dawn soap.
You have to be specific.
Actually, all bread you should kind of wash first before you slice and eat. There you have it.
I didn't know bread was like a vegetable.
I didn't either. Been missing out all my life.
You're welcome.
I needed to learn how to make bagels.
So if you buy a French baguette and then you take it out of the cellophane or the plastic or whatever it's wrapped in, you have to wash it?
You want to, you don't really wash it. You want to coat it well with water. Coat it well with water, and then you can start slicing, and there you go.
It makes it more fresh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
There you go.
You're going to have to try this on your next cooking show with Patrick.
Exactly.
Remember, if you have a piece of French bread and it's fresh and you've eaten half of it, but then it's left over for a couple of days, I know that, if you wrap it in wet paper towels, it refreshes the bread.
Yes.
And then you could chop it. I didn't know you had to wash the bread.
See how much you can learn from talking to men?
Thank you.
It's like, I should be the one giving you the bagel advice.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting because you guys came from a world where you get rejected quite often, right? And to me, back then, I'm younger, I took it very, very personal. I remember I had applied for a job at a modeling agency here in LA many, many years ago. And the owner did not even want to interview me. And interesting enough, last year I get this phone call from someone from Colombia, and they're starting a regenerative medicine clinic in Colombia. They did a Zoom call. And one of the guys was talking about, I'm from LA. I used to own a modeling agency. And I'd asked, what's the name of your modeling agency? I'm like, do you remember me? He said, no. I'm like, exactly, because I try to be your assistant. You didn't give me a job interview. But anyways, completely off topic. How do you guys deal with rejection? Because that's got to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's changed today. Started in that world and still in that world. I think it's just something you get a little more used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, some jobs that you lose out on, I think I would dare to say, and I think you guys could probably relate, but no different than selling a house. Like, there's some that you really want. Yeah. And it hurts a little more, or matters a little more to you, and there's some that slip away and it's like, that's okay, but at the end of the day, I don't think, sure, it can come down to us, but I think at the end of the day, there's always a million people that are being seen. They could be looking for one specific look, they could be looking for one specific thing you did within your work or your choices. There's so many variables that come into play regardless of the preparation you do for your work that you can't change, what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, it is out of our hands to some degree. I've had shows I've read for where I've had calls from the casting office where they're, reaching out to the team and saying, Brett's our top choice. Is he available for these dates? And everything looks like it's aligned and going forward. And then a month later, hey, we haven't heard anything. Oh, yeah, the producers went with a friend of theirs who didn't even read for the project, but this is their choice. Those things are out of our hands. So at the end of the day, like, for me to walk through a door, whether it's an audition or an interview for something, and to be myself and to be authentic or bring 100% to an audition, then that's all I can do. And at the end of the day, if I get it, I get it. And if not, maybe it wasn't meant to be. So
I think it's a very creative process. So the way I've looked at it, both through Instagram and watching different things on Instagram, and everything's on the phones now, but also like YouTube that my son watches all the time. You can look up certain things and then learn certain things off of these different platforms, and also like acting coaches and casting directors. Everybody's on there, and so through these different platforms, I've been looking at these different posts and things like that, and casting directors, and all this advice that you can get from different platforms. And really, when it comes down to it, is that you as a person, you are you, and you can only be you, and you don't have to change to be something you're not. So for me, okay, if you're being you and then you don't get the part in the beginning of your career, it can be tough, and you want that job or whatever. But then the more auditions that you do, normally you're going to get 1 out of the 10 so much. So you do get chosen, but it's almost like the more you do, or the more interviews you have, you're going to get the one person that says yes. So don't take the 9 no's as you're awful and you're never going to be anything. But just be, trust in yourself, do the best job you can, be you, don't try and be anybody else, don't try and please anybody, just really be confident in yourself. There's always going to be no's, but just through watching all these different casting directors and all these other people talking about certain things, and even famous actors saying, when I first came to Hollywood and I was trying out for all these things, you're not going to get everything you go up for, and I don't think anyone else does get everything. But the one thing I found that helped me was if you're going to do your own project and you're going to look for certain people to be the actors that are going to make your project be great, and you see all of these great actors come in, you're like, that was a really great read, and you're an amazing actor, you're just not right for Joel, or you're not right for Emma. You just don't see it. So it's not, you're terrible, we don't want you. You know what I mean? So all the people that are out there that are trying to aspire to be actors, you just have to know how to be present in a real circumstance, or be real in a non-real circumstance, and do the work and give it as a gift. And there's a great book by Bryan Cranston that he got success later on in life, and I read his book on Audible, so I listened to his book, and someone else read it. Well, he read it, and it's an amazing book. And he was like, you give this audition as a gift, and don't expect anything back. And when you get to that stage, and you do what you think the role is, don't worry about pleasing anybody else, and do the work and learn your lines, and go for it. And then one day they'll choose you, and you got to love it so much that you don't want to do it for money, and like photography or making art, like anything. As soon as you stop doing it to please everybody else, and you're comfortable in your own shoes or trousers or underwear, just go for it and be yourself, and that's where the magic starts to happen, when you're not expecting anything back, and you just you're giving, and there's the certain energy that's out there, and I think that's the magic, rather than trying to be somebody or trying to be famous or doing it for the money. Just do it because you love it, and then that authenticity comes out. Of course, that's not going to work for everybody, but only sort of 2% of people make it. But if you really, really love it, just do it, because you'll always win. Yeah. Because just doing it gives you so much back, and it's really enjoyable.
There is such an amount of power when you wake up every day and you look forward to starting your day because you love what you do, right? I mean, I understand during our younger years, it's really about, I have to have a successful career, I need to make this money. But you get to this age that what's more important is you love what you do. You look at the bigger picture, right? Yeah. And I think when you have the right intention, you have the passion, and you give to people without expecting anything back, that's when things just kind of fall into the right places, right? And you know, the entertainment and modeling world is such a competitive world. It will wreck you. And I think that's part of the reason why I woke up one day and realized, you know, it's not for me. And not a lot of people can survive your industry.
Yeah, no, you raise a good point. I mean, I had a tough time when I started modeling because I was like, oh, I go to these castings and I'm like, I have a law degree, I speak French, and it was kind of, grazie. I'm like, well, hold on. Wait, what?
You haven't heard me talk?
It took a while for me to
Yeah.
accept that, you know what? It's not about you. You're not here to speak. Do you fit the clothing? Are you the image that they have? And once I accepted that, it was much easier, and I really appreciated the process. See, I like the artistic, you know, making a great photo. And we're given the opportunity to be in places and settings that I remember my first major job was a shoot in New York underneath the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset on a yacht. They had a private pianist.
I love how
preparing it.
specific you are with your stories.
It was one of those because as I stood there, I'm in a tuxedo, the female model's in a beautiful gown, and I'm just like, soak up every second of this moment because this will never happen again. This is what people kill for.
Yeah.
And that was what I really appreciated. And so to your point, even thinking for me, I was never I used to be, okay, you didn't know this. I was a child actor. I did several off-Broadway shows. I did commercials. And I was great at it when it was just for fun.
Yeah.
And once there was another kid that I remember very well, and he went on to be a pretty decent actor. And we were the last two always for the audition. And his family, they were more entertainment centric. So they were prepping to move the entire family to LA so that he could continue. And that's when the competitive part of it sort of made me nervous. I was self-conscious. I knew that I was going in. He's behind me. He's the next audition. And I'm like, crap, I got to nail this because he's going to come in. Or he's been in before me. And I'm like, Larry's been here.
Larry, we want to find you.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's done really well. But, you know, it was that kind of thing. And I think that combined with I started playing tennis competitively. I loved the sport. And that was where my focus was. So then when I would get sent on, you know, acting auditions as a model, oh God, I was terrible. I mean, so bad that sometimes the audition would end and I'd look at everybody and sort of say, that was the worst thing you've ever seen, isn't it? And they'd kind of say, nice meeting you. And that was it. So yeah, it took a while for me to get over the initial rejection, but when I understood what it was about, is the product. Do I look good with that glass of champagne? Yes or no? No? Then, you know, Brett looks great with it. All good. You know?
It makes it a lot easier to
Yes.
deal with rejection when you actually put your mind like, okay, and it's really all about art. Because, you know, when I work at a casting studio, they always say, out of 100 people that you'll see, you'll probably find one, if you're lucky, at the very first day that fits exactly what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been a moment you just like, I'm done. I just want to give up. I can't do it anymore. And then the next day you walk into like something that you've been waiting for such a long time.
Every day. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's
How many
usually
hours ago?
that's usually when it happens. A lot of actors they you know audition, and then you know you can get close to things, and then you know you're down to the last 10, and then they go down to the last 3. I mean, I did this thing for Spartacus. I never thought I'd ever get it. I got the audition and I was like, all right, I'll read for it because I love what I do and I want to try for it. But am I like this guy, amazing guy, Andy Whitfield, that is completely ripped and just amazing at being Spartacus in this series on Stars? And but I had to, you know, my agent gave it to me. I'm not going to turn it down. And then I got a second audition and a third audition. And then I started training really, really hard, and I stopped drinking red wine, which is my favorite. and trained twice a day, and I got a trainer, and this is back in 2011. And then I went to the 6th round and got down to the last 3, and then got flown out to New Zealand. And then so I'm on the flight, 12-hour flight to New Zealand, and then at the studio, went straight to the studio to then get hair and makeup and then be on the set and work with the other actors and test for this show. And then you think, wow, this is it. After 6 weeks of really, really working and auditioning. And then to find out that they give it to someone a lot younger and a lot cheaper, and then you see him on the billboard 6 months later after the show comes out. Yeah, I mean, you put everything into it, and then they choose him, but it's at least you're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just like, you know what? This I'm not. Why am I keep giving? I'm not getting anything back. But once you know the industry, like. That's why you have to love it, Yeah. As long as you can do everything else, that just to make ends meet, so that you can still do your passion, whether it be painting or being a violinist or whatever.
Or washing bagels.
Or washing bagels, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, and anything when you have there's so much competition out there now, but you don't want to be discouraged about. Well, I'm not going to try, Maybe I'm not, you always have to be confident and just go for it in life. Whatever you do, you just got to go all in, But, what is rejection? It's like, hey, so what? Like Patrick said, if I'm not for you, that's great. Maybe he looks better with a glass of wine or champagne, as you said, but...
Red wine.
Speaking of that, yeah. Maybe I don't look good with champagne.
So, speaking about, competitiveness, you did Dancing with a Star many, many years ago. How was that like, stepping out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, there's one thing. I think you should always step out of your comfort zone, because I think if you're comfortable, then you're not pushing yourself and you're not putting yourself out there. Another reason why I love acting is because, I'm kind of a shy person, and in front of the camera, I mean, not so much now after doing it for 24 years, but to put yourself in an uncomfortable position, then you can grow as a person. Like doing Dancing with the Stars was very, very, it wasn't frustrating. It was intimidating.
Yeah.
And it made me, when I'm confident on camera and I'm doing well, I know how to learn a lot of lines in a short period of time, and sort of and do well at that. The only dance experience I've ever had is, going to a nightclub or to a wedding, and then trying to twirl a girl around, or dance with your mum and your auntie. Your auntie's birthday party with a crazy DJ, that's playing all sorts of music that, So this is doing the foxtrot and the cha-cha-cha and really, yeah. I mean, you've seen the show and you're like, okay. And the BBC had an interview with me. Agent, Innovative, asked me if I could go and see the BBC over at ABC in the Valley. And I went over there and I said to myself, just go. Yes, it's crazy, frightening. Yeah, it's intimidating. Yeah, you're exposing yourself. What if you fail? But what if you don't? What if you just go for it? Just go. And then so I went over there, and the guy said, well, yeah, after the interview, he said, all right, you want to do it? We want to have you. Then I said,
it's like, crap, what did I sign up for?
Yeah, I'm up for it. Yeah, I'll do it. And on the drive home, I think, what am I doing? This is not going to be good. I mean, I know I can't dance that well, but if you, like anything, if you put your mind to something and you work really, really hard and you dedicate yourself and you stay up late and you wake up early, then you can do anything you put your mind to. So I just thought, one side being insecure and afraid, but go for it. And there's that switch in life, like, oh, am I going to be good enough? Like, go for it. Okay, how can I be good enough? Go to bed early, wake up, train, stretch, start practicing and don't worry about your insecurities. And the more you practice at something, the better you're going to be, hopefully, And so doing that, I was very, very scared and still intimidated. And it was like when I was younger, it was like, you know what, I'm just going to fake it until I make it and pretend that I'm not scared.
So roughly, how many hours a day did you rehearse and how many days a week? Because it looks insane.
It was about 7 hours a day. It was at 9 a.m. until 5, and then you break for an hour and a half for lunch because you have to sort of warm down and warm back up. But then on like Saturday, you'd have to be at CBS Studios to then work with the cameras and practice so that they would know where you're kind of going to go. And then Sunday, you would do the same thing again. So it would probably be it was like 7 days a week, but Saturdays and Sundays were like 2 hours. And it would be good for your brain just to go over it and sort of rehearse in your mind, but it wouldn't be that physical. But then Monday, there'd be a pre-show at 3 or 2 o'clock, right? And then it'd be live at 5. So you do the whole show at 2, like it's live, so that everyone is then comfortable, cameras, hosts, and things like that. But there'd be no crowd, and then the audience would come in. And when the crowd's there, and it's Editor Sylvenska and Aiden Turner doing the cha-cha-cha, you couldn't hear anything. And then the whole thing in your heart would go, oh, this is it. And
Jesus.
So you guys work such intense hours, right? How do you kind of manage your whole fitness and your wellness routine? And I know we've had plenty of conversation about that, and you guys, except Brett, and we were going to take care of it yesterday, you guys had both, you both had your stem cell and your excision procedure done. But I'm curious to see where does your fitness and your routine fits in with your busy schedule?
I make it a priority. I always I figure I sleep 7 to 8 hours. That leaves me another 16. Somewhere in there, I can get a good solid hour workout. And it helped for me. Big tennis player, I always played, 3 times a week, fairly competitive, almost to like I'm playing on the team in college. But during the lockdown, gyms were closed.
Yeah.
And what was I going to do? I knew I was not becoming a runner. I hate running. I will be on a tennis court in 98-degree weather for 3 hours. Ask me to run around the block, that's a problem. So I bought the adjustable weight. I bought a treadmill, bought an elliptical, put it in the basement of the house. So even now, when I would sit down after dinner and, let me watch a Netflix, I'm like, or I could go down a flight and get on the treadmill and do a workout while I watch whatever show it is. So it's always been a priority. And also, as you get older, you realize it's really about injury prevention, mobility, flexibility, and making sure you're healthy. And that's
you make it sound like we're about to be senior citizens.
Listen,
the mobility.
over 40, you really start to, it becomes more important. You realize this is what you're doing now is going to pay off when you are 85 and 90, and you're not on a walker or a Zimmer frame or in a wheelchair, that kind of thing. So I make it a priority. And that's why what you do at Nouveau is tantamount to helping to maintain that process.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really all about preventative, and that's what, really stem cell does. And I, at one point, I've neglected myself so much for the past 8 years. And about a year ago, I went to this whole fitness journey, right? Now I'm boxing 3 days a week. I go to Pilates and I train 2 days a week. But at one point, just because I know how I am, I put a Peloton in both of my houses right beside my bed. So that when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is put my hoops airing, brush my teeth, and I get on the Peloton. Even if I'm answering email or doing my conference call, I make it a point to do, at least 30 minutes. Now, I have to be very strategic on when I do my workouts. So at 6 a.m. consistently, I know that's the time that my phone doesn't ring as much. So that's where I do my workout. But I know, Aiden, you have such a busy schedule too, and you're extremely fit. Where does your workout fit in?
To be honest, I think I've always worked out before I've worked. So when I started on All My Children, you'd have to be the studio at 7. So I would just wake up before 5:30, go for a run, do 30, 40 minutes, come back, shower, and so, and that would be every day. And even on the weekends, just do something 45 minutes a day. But now having a son, Tristan, and I have to do it before he wakes up. So as soon as I wake up, I'm going to get it done for the first hour, come back, and then make breakfast and coffee. And so for me, it doesn't matter what time I go to bed. As soon as I wake up, I need to get it done, because then sometimes life gets a little interesting throughout the day, and life is different every single day. And then at 5 o'clock, you've got something to do, or there's soccer practice, and then you get back, and then someone said, "Hey, we're over here at the cafe. Why don't you come over?" And then Tristan wants to go play with his friend, and thinking, I need to go to the gym. So I just first thing in the morning, I do an hour because I'm getting a little older, and so just get it done first thing in the morning. Have a little coffee and put the headphones on, get a good Ibiza mix on Spotify, get it done, get it out the way. Otherwise, there's always something that comes up, or I'll make excuses, and I can't wait to be honest. At 6 o'clock, open a bottle of wine. So
at 6 a.m. you're opening up the bottle.
No, it's 6 p.m.
You need to
PM.
talk.
6 p.m. Yeah.
See, I mean,
if I haven't been to bed, I'll be drinking wine
go.
at 6 a.m. But
See,
first thing in the morning,
the early morning workouts never worked for me. In fact, even training tennis in college, when we had to be on the court, like at 6 a.m., they knew Hazlewood wasn't connecting with the ball till about 7:30. Then, like the last 20 minutes, I'm playing.
You're there.
But that early morning, even now, God.
And I know some of the guys from All My Children. I know some of the actors there, and they said that you guys, or one of the actors' dressing room, you guys had your weights, and you would just take turns, lifting weights between takes.
I mean, you never know when they're going to write a shirt-off scene. I mean, it's always going to be every 2 weeks. So always, you got to eat small, eat often, don't drink alcohol, go to bed early, well, if you can, depending on how many lines you have to learn. So, you got to fit it in. I mean, most of the time you're spending is learning the lines, and then being on set, and then waiting. And then the scenes aren't always back to back. So you have to be at the studio. And there should be a gym at the studio, and a pool, and a steam room, and a masseuse, but it's very basic there.
Very basic.
It's just you've got your little office and your sink, and you've got a bed to take a nap, because they know that sometimes when you leave there at 11 p.m. at night, you're going to be learning lines until 2 a.m. But then you have to be there at 7. So when are you going to, when are you going to sleep? On a soap opera, it's very dialogue heavy. 45 minutes a day of a show without commercials, so it's almost like doing half a movie a day. And then we get weights in the room, and you have a little fridge, and you're trying to do your smoothies and your green juice, and I don't know what this is, dumbbells. Dumbbells. And then you got to be slim in case the next script that comes under your door, you're like, oh, me and Kendall do what? Oh. And
so
I take a robe off, and I'm in the shower. Oh my God, not again.
How about you, Britt? I know you travel back and forth between South Carolina and LA. So you keep a pretty busy schedule too, but
I mean, I would say the same as these guys. I try to prioritize the best I can. I'm definitely a creature of habit. When I am afforded a routine, I'll take it all day long. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's reading a script, prepping lines, doing a workout. I definitely like to have some normalcy, but we're not always afforded that. If we're traveling for work, it's hard. Like if productions put me up, I'll always at least see if there's a decent gym on site of where they're putting me, and if not, see if there's something close by, so I can keep that routine. Because as we were talking about with rejection, there's so many things out of our control. To me, a workout of my day is one thing I can control, and I think I always will try to. Not get any younger. So
we keep saying that we're not getting any younger. We're
gotta
actually
be healthier.
we get better as we get older.
Yeah, but no, it is very important, I think, day to day.
So I'm interested to find out what you guys are working on right now, and what's next in your career.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hazlewood.
On my end, as I said, I have switched to Brown Harris Stevens now, a new brokerage, which is much more in line with my ethos and practices. They're very discreet, really have a robust marketing component, which is great for me as well. And they are in line with my philosophy of making sure that my clients are well taken care of and that we understand what they're looking for. Sometimes even before they understand what they're looking for. So I've been with them, I think, for about 4 months now, and it's going really, really well.
Good.
So, when you're ready to move back or make that investment in New York.
I mean, it's New York is definitely a place that I'm going to be going back to. We just kind of started a New York medical training, and we're doing our first training in July. So you'll be seeing me in New York quite a bit.
Come on board. Look, my YouTube video is up with Brown Harris Stevens. We've just done a good profile as well, so you'll get some info and come on over.
Perfect. And Brett, you have a new Netflix show that just came out, right?
Yeah, it's released this past Thursday. It's called The Waterfront. Uh-huh. But filmed that back in the Southeast in Wilmington, North Carolina. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, outside of being a part of the show, I think it will be, a bit of a new sensation for them. It's Kevin Williamson, who created Scream and, that whole universe. He is, kind of leading this thing, but the producers, the cast, crew, again, were just amazing. So, yeah, it's the show itself is focused around North Carolina fishing family that they basically own everything, the ports, the restaurants, the bars, and through their ports, drug trade becomes involved, and that's kind of where the drama and the dynamics come into play.
I've really watched Netflix, but I'll be watching that.
Yeah, so I'm in episode 8, the finale of season 1. But
it's all about the Buckleys.
That's right.
All about the Buckleys.
You fit in great.
It's a very, very, very interesting family. It's a very good show. I auditioned for it, and it was going to be great to go there. And I did my best American accent, but
okay, I need to hear the American
I think
accent.
he got the role. So
I need to hear the American accent.
well done, son. I'm just bartending and just trying to do everything I can. No, I'm still I'm auditioning and up for. I just did a project out in Europe, which was amazing. I'm getting more into hosting again, which was great. After doing The Inside with Lara Spencer years ago, after doing Dancing with the Stars, I realized how fun it is to be able to read an auto cue and have like a little producer in your ear, and if the lines aren't written down for me, I really don't know what to say. Really, so I'm ad-libbing right now. I'm probably not doing a good job, but looking at a screen and reading, I'm really enjoying that. I'm up for a project shooting in Tampa, and it's a show similar to the Great British Baking Show, which me and the family love to watch. It's a contestant-style based show, and then so these 10 people are they're competing to. Whoever wins, or whoever's the best at carving a block of cedar wood into an art project. It's called the Master Carver. So I'm looking forward to going down to Florida to host this show. It's not like the host of Survivor.
Yeah.
This is hosting a show about people that are just so good at making a block of cedar wood into an art piece, and they're all very, very different. So I'm doing more things like that and traveling for that. I mean, I love acting, don't get me wrong. I'm hoping, I love to work with Guy Ritchie. I love the new show Mobland and his shows, and this show, Waterfront is amazing. And so just doing, like competition is really, really tough out there. And I don't know if it's because I'm English and I'm getting older that I'm not getting the roles that I'm going up for. But sometimes I do again. And then just kind of broadening my horizons into real estate, like Mr. Handsome Patrick Hazlewood, and hosting, you know, a bit like my other buddy Cameron Matheson. And because I really, really enjoy it. If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate, you know, having you guys here on the show, and I just love seeing all three of you. And I know we'll be going to our yearly event in New York in September, so I'm always looking forward to that. And I just appreciate all of it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks very much
It's
for
been an
having
honor
us.
to be here.
Absolute pleasure.
We're so excited to see your development and all the new avenues that are opening up for you. We're really excited. I mean, it's really
One thing I know
enriching.
about me, every single endeavors that I have, I do include my friends. So there'll be plenty of other things, you know, coming up. Thank you so much for joining our episode of This Is Me and
This is Us.